Hey guys, I am currently in Oklahoma, about 2,000 kilometers into a pretty big road trip to New Mexico, and I'm currently hanging out with this giant blue whale.
Those places round town that you and I found always remind me of you. Can't hang around those places we found, 'cause I get the blues when I do.
Actually, so I think I'm gonna start with a close-up shot here. Do I go landscape or portrait?
So my name's Kyle McDougall. I am a photographer working primarily with film, a little bit of digital, and been doing this for, every time I say how long I've been doing it, I say like a different number. So, but for like somewhere, I would say 13, 14, getting close to 15 years.
Cool to get some color up there. Tell you what, everything looks cooler through the back of this camera.
Well, I think when I first started to really get into it, I moved out to Western Canada. So I'm originally from Ontario, Canada, which is close to Toronto. But I moved out west and out into the mountains, into a place called Banff in Alberta, which is in the Rocky Mountains. Just beautiful place. And just picked up a camera. I think it was around 18 or 19 years old. Always had an interest in like visual arts and stuff like that, but never up until that point in my life had done anything. And it was purely just like curiosity, fueled by just this amazing environment that was so drastically different for me compared to where I grew up. The thing I like about Roy's, it's been photographed like a million times, right? But I love areas like that because Roy's you can go to, you can park your car, and it's like Amboy is this relatively small area, but you could just stay there for hours and you can explore all these little buildings and you can completely tune out. And that, for that image, it was just like, wandering through these buildings, and I went into one, and the way the light was hitting the wall, and the how it was like the shadows were interacting with the light, and using the window for a frame. So just like purely based off of just like having fun and seeing what I could discover. And that's what I love most about photography, and I think a big reason why I shoot by myself a lot of the time is because it's cool to just like completely tune out and go to these areas and just like search for really interesting compositions. Not that every image needs to be this like really super kind of intricate, unique image. But yeah, that one kind of just came together how it did based off of me searching around Amboy for a couple hours. But it was a fun one. I don't think I really ever stepped back took a step back and realized that until quite recently, where I was like, my still work is no people at all. And I talk often about wanting to shoot people more. And then my filmmaking work is these like very intimate portraits of people's lives, which is like, so two completely different worlds. And I think photography for me has always been this like very solo escape type endeavor, where it's me and I'm going to these environments, like even a lot of the subjects I photograph, it's these desolate areas, it's these abandoned areas. And I think in a way it's similar to the landscape photography I did where I was in the wilderness by myself. So like all of these places I'm going for my still work are areas where I can go, I can be by myself, I can kind of detach, I can get like immersed in my work and in what I'm doing. And I think I really, really enjoy that. And I never go really and shoot with any other people. When I do, I never really make work that I'm happy with. But on the filmmaking side of things, I think what I enjoy so much about doing these short films about people is just like the opportunities that arise when you dig into someone's life, right? So it'll start with like, searching for like a topic, and then you find a person associated with that topic, and then when you dig into that person, you find the environment they live in, and you find, the story about their life and struggles and ups and downs, and there's just so many creative opportunities. So recently I've decided that moving forward, I really want to approach a body of work with my still photography in a very similar style to my filmmaking work. So I want to go and I want to find a person, and I want to shoot like a still photography project about someone's life. I thought that'd be really cool. Yeah, so I feel like with my YouTube, I've started to get like a really clear idea lately of kind of how, like, what my style and kind of purpose on there is. And I feel like a lot of the content I've made lately, I like bringing my like filmmaking style into it. So making almost these like films about my experience going and doing something, and then there's some sort of like message or lesson or something in there. But I keep coming back to this, like, trying to spread this message of like, creative inspiration and authenticity and being unique, and just really trying to be some sort of voice in the photography community that's like supporting people and encouraging people, and not just like, I'm not trying to just like hand out pats on the back to everyone and be like everyone's perfect, you know what I mean? But like I want to be the opposite of the person who says like your photos suck, right? I want to be the person who like tries to encourage people to like go and create whatever interests them, right? Like, don't worry if someone thinks it's stupid, like follow that path and see where it goes. So, the reality is like you said, sometimes you go out to make a video and you might not feel like shooting photos at all. And then you force yourself to, and you make something that you don't even like, and you're like doing it just to make a video. So, but it's just a weird world to navigate, right? Because it's like certain videos do better than other ones, right? And as much as I try and avoid that trap of thinking like, oh, is this going to be, like, I always want to just try and think like, what is going to be helpful, and then make that. But there are times where you think like, oh, it's going to be helpful, but it might not be that popular, right? Like that creative burnout video, for example, like I felt so great about the message in it, right? But like it didn't do good, right? Which like isn't a big deal, but I'd be lying if I said that there haven't been times where I've thought like, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't do a video like that again because it didn't do that good, right? Even though, like, as much as I try and avoid getting trapped in that cycle at all. So I think the YouTube world and the social media world is just one that you got to constantly try and get better at navigating it as a creative, because I think it really pays to just be authentic for your like personal style, but also just for your like insanity as well. Because there's just times where, like, I was just doing a schedule for my YouTube now that I've started to try and do it kind of full time. And, sitting here thinking about like what I'm going to do each week is tough, because I'm just like, I don't want to shoot that. Like, I don't want to shoot that much, right? Maybe like, I don't have ideas, like, but I guess some of it you do as long as it comes back to, in the end of the video, somehow help someone, I think is what matters most.